All right, I took the day off yesterday. Yesterday is Labor Day in Japan. It's a national holiday. And my wife got the idea. This is the woman I married. She got the bright idea to make an early morning run back up to Shobara to go check out Ashitakeyama, the proposed Japanese pyramid. And adjacent Demon Scream Mountain with its astounding megalith complex. The forecast said mostly sunny, partly cloudy, low chance of precipitation. But on our drive up, dark and heavy clouds blew in off the Sea of Japan. We got halfway up Ashitakeyama and forced down by sleet. This is the face of defeat. Defeat by sleet. I did find a very interesting stick structure, and now that we had a lot of free time, we went to a museum in Miyoshi where I made a very interesting discovery in an antique scroll from 1749. Very interesting. I'll show you that coming up. Advancing Hibagon studies by accident on my day off. But today, evidence of current Hibagon presence and activity. I have 8 artifacts to share with you. I say artifacts. Hibagon artifacts. I have varying degrees of confidence in these. They were all found along a 4-kilometer hike up Mount Hiba in November of 2021. First, let's look at the possible culprits. I'm ruling out all the smaller animals: weasels, rabbits, birds, bugs. So let's review the larger animals that live in the Japanese forest or visit it. Deer, wild boar, bear, man, and Hibagon, Japanese Bigfoot. Artifact 1. A carefully chosen stick balanced on the slender branch of a tree. It didn't just fall there. Now, deer, pig, and bear are excluded. This needed hands. Could have been man. This stick was not very heavy, and its placement was not very high. I could have put that stick there. I didn't, but I could have. So, man or Hibagon. Artifact 2. In this enormous tree, someone has balanced a telephone pole sized. I don't know if this is a limb or the trunk of another tree. It points down the mountain to a spot where the trail just comes around a corner. You come around the corner, and this big finger is pointing at you. Did it fall that way? No. Could a man? No. Could a team of men get it up there with pulleys, maybe? No. Hibagon. Well, a 40-foot utility pole from a Douglas fir weighs over a ton. Now, Nyungwe Forest tells me that a silverback gorilla is 20 times stronger than a man. 20 times. And can lift or throw up to 815 kilograms. That's 1,796 pounds. So yes, a Hibagon could do this. Well, only a Hibagon. Artifact 3. Someone has pulled down this slender silver tree, bent it down like a bow, and not released it to go boing back to position. No, that someone has hooked it under a branch of this cypress tree. Now, that someone needed hands. And I'll tell you, I'm not strong enough to do that. And even if I were, I'd need all my strength to stand upright on this very steep slope. Hibagon is our only candidate. Artifact 4. You're in a forest of brown cypress trees, and you see this one ghostly white figure. You get up to it, and it is a Y-shaped trunk. Made a Y-shaped trunk because someone broke off the uprights, which I'm sorry I didn't get into the frame. But someone also broke off, not sawed off, the middle upright. So, breaks in 3 places. Someone fashioned this into a Y. Why? I don't know. It kind of reminded me of rifle sights. It's also interesting that this is the only Y-shaped trunk and the only all-white tree. Now, the white is some kind of mildew. I wonder if whoever shaped this trunk into a Y also had the intelligence to smear it with mildew to color it. Well, that's speculative. But as to who made this, well, Hibagon is the only one who could have done it. Artifact 5, peeled trees. We found several of them. This one is too far away for my phone, and sorry, I wasn't using the Nikon on this hike. But luckily we found one that I was able to get to stand beside. Here I am, and someone has peeled this tree like a banana. It's peeled way higher on the north side. And whoever did this didn't eat the outer bark. It's thrown around on the ground. So he was maybe eating the inner bark or just making some kind of statement. This tree was healthy. I saw no evidence of insects, no scratch marks from claws, like, for example, bear claws. Normal pig, deer, bear couldn't reach this high anyway. Looks like someone with strong fingers did this. Looks like Hibagon to me. Artifact 6, this bent tree. Now, this tree was about as thick as the neck of a wine bottle. Not a super big tree, but that doesn't look like wind damage. Let's take a closer look. Okay, looks like it was a perfectly healthy tree, and someone has bent it down double. Now, there are no cuts, no signs of tools. And if you notice, it isn't simply snapped. It's not snapped the way that you or I would snap a stick in half. No. This is twisted and bent. Now, the world's strongest man might be able to snap a tree like this in half. I doubt it, but I'll just give him that. But there's no way he could twist a tree like this. That would take someone a lot stronger. Hey, maybe 20 times stronger or more. And, of course, someone with hands. Artifact 7. This jumble of... Sorry, I don't even know what. And I apologize for the poor quality of the photo. This was at the bottom of the mountain after a stressful climb and an even more stressful descent. My hands were tired and cold. This thing was far away, and I wasn't about to get out the Nikon now. We were getting off the mountain and out of the forest as fast as we could on account of Artifact 8, which I'll show you in a moment. But this knotted tangle was about 4 or 5 meters tall and off of very steep ground. Okay, Artifact 8. The most personal artifact of them all. If you remember, we were the last party up this mountaineering trail and the first party down. Last up, first down. There were 2 men ahead of us who went off in the direction of the Tate Eboshi cone, and there was a couple with a little boy who had set up a cook stove and were cooking instant ramen. They all had better gear. They were better prepared and more comfortable, whereas our boots and socks were soaked and freezing. We needed to dry and warm ourselves as well as we could, get some sandwiches in our bellies, and get back down to the lodge. So that's just what we did. No one else came up that trail. No one else went down until we said goodbye to the instant ramen family, and we went back down. Okay, about 500 meters down the trail, we came across something right in the middle of the trail, right in the middle. So we had to walk around it. It was not there on our way up. Here it is. That is a good 2.5-inch stick that someone has stuck deep into the middle of the trail. The trail is hard-packed clay. I tried to pick the stick out. I couldn't budge it. I kicked it a little loose, you can see there. Now the top of the stick was freshly snapped, freshly broken, and I think that's the other piece tossed aside there. Someone with hands and enormous superhuman strength stuck this in the middle of the trail shortly after we passed. We got up to the top, we wrung out our socks, warmed up our feet, quickly ate some lunch, and came back down. This was creepy, and that's why we were hurrying to get down. Not just from the weather, but I interpreted this as a display of aggression. Now, whether it was meant as a message to my family or a sign or message to someone else concerning my family, I don't know. But I felt that my family was involved in something that made me uncomfortable, and I wanted to remove my family from this situation ASAP. So there was no time to stop and unzip the camera bag and carefully take out the expensive Nikon camera after this. Sorry, family and safety and evacuation of the area first. I am kicking myself for not taking the stick. I could have loosened it more and got it out. The thing is, I had my younger daughter by one hand and my own hiking pole in my other hand, which I needed to try to stay on my feet. And I didn't always succeed in that. Now, in hindsight, I think I should have wedged this stick behind my back. wedged it in behind my backpack. There might have been hair on it, or some kind of handprint. Anyway, it would have made a heck of a souvenir. But yeah, I was just thinking that we needed to leave. I think that's what the stick was telling us. We needed to leave right now. No man pushed that 2.5-inch thick stick a good 5 or 6 inches into hard, compacted clay. No way. Not even this guy. Whatever you might think about my other photos, this was Hibagon. I'm sure of it. There were no footprints. The trail is bordered by bamboo. Up here. Bamboo on either side. Whoever did this, as long as he kept his feet in the bamboo, he wouldn't leave any footprints, and he's smart enough to know that. Shuffle through the bamboo, and with your long arms, lean over and plant this thing. Simple. I told you we did hear rustling in the bamboo, like someone following us, but not following from behind, following us from ahead and above, shadowing us, foreshadowing us. Now, credit where credit is due. Whoever did this could have put that stick through my head. He could have popped off all of our heads like dandelions. He had the strength, and he had the drop on us all the time. He had the higher ground. He had the cover of the bamboo. He had every advantage, and he outclassed us in every way, including intelligence. He didn't do anything like that, so thank you. Thank you, whoever did this. Our game clerk made a brilliant observation. I thought it was brilliant. He said my family would have looked different from everyone else who hikes up there. You see, everyone else is a weekend hiker, out for a bit of good sport, out for the fresh air, out to have fun. They're looking down at their feet and sometimes looking at the beautiful views, but their behavior and body language is pretty consistent. Then I come along. I'm looking for Hibagon signs, and I'm finding them and coming close to them and looking carefully at them. I'm peering through the woods like an old varmint hunter, trying to see through the trees. I'm gazing and holding my gaze, waiting to notice something out of place, or a shadow, or a blur, or for someone to give himself away. I'm sure I look defensive and on guard. I'm sure I look suspicious. If the Hibagon were a department store, plainclothes security man, he would have picked me out right away and shadowed me, quite rightly. He knew that I knew that he was there. He knew that I was seeing his marks or signs and showing close interest. This Hibagon sentinel was doing his job, and he was right on his game. So bravo, Hibagon sentinel. Congratulations. And again, thank you for keeping it non-violent. 8 possible Hibagon artifacts for your interest. Recent artifacts, evidence that the Hibagon are very much alive and well and vigilant. The beastly hairy beasts with long arms who watch and wait patiently. In this case, patiently waiting until we left their mountain with a little encouragement. Well, I'm interested in your opinions, and I welcome dissenting opinions. If you think any of these was natural, let me know. And number one, I have admitted, could have been man-made. Yeah, number one could have been made by a human. Numbers 2 through 8, I don't see how. I don't see how, let alone who, when, why. All right, I'm Kyle for Hibagon, Japanese Bigfoot. Bye-bye.